I want to explain how Ansible works and how it is different from Terraform. So basically, Ansible is a simple Python-based client application. I mean, it's CLI only, like Google Cloud CLI, gclouds, or Azure CLI, AZ, or Google Cloud Storage. So it's another CLI, but the thing is, you need to have Python runtime for it. So you can easily install just yum install Ansible in Red Hat based system, or apt get some other using any package manager, or you can just install pip install. You can do that. So it's a simple tool. So but it's very powerful also, Ansible, in the sense that what it does is it's basically automates a lot of a repeatable task, like especially in the server management sector. We have many servers, right? In any corporate, we have many Linux servers, and they need to be managed in the sense they need to be patched regularly. You may need to install some custom software, you may need to upgrade those software. Think about it that we can go to those software one time and just run some shell script to do that, and again go to another server, we can do manually all these things. But that's not automation. Automation is all about we have as less manual as possible. So we can, this is where Ansible helps. Ansible use agentless architecture and use open SSH, and SSH as its fundamental unit to communicate with the target server. So the machine where Ansible is loaded is installed, it's called control node, and there can be many control nodes. So that means we can have an Ansible cluster of control nodes, and they can do load balancing, and that I think we need Ansible Tower to do that control clustering management only, or AWX only. Ansible doesn't support that. So that's the thing. So basically it's an SSH based. Now there are three fundamental concepts which is very important when writing about Ansible code. One is called inventory. The second is called your Ansible playbooks, where you write your Ansible code. And third is basically Ansible runtime. That's where Ansible the playbook runs. And within the inventory, we have again concept for groups. So basically you can group so in Ansible inventory, you have your target server's IP or host name, and you can basically mention if you have a multiple host names with the same an IP ranges, you can do. So there are, if you go see the documentation of Ansible inventory introduction, it's a very good you have, a very good documentation it has. And then, so when you in your Ansible playbook, you refer to the inventory to understand which host you need to update. So you can tell based on the group name, this group I want to update, and that's where to select the correct host, you can use patterns. There are something called patterns. You can use that in Ansible playbook. And by the way, Ansible playbook is just a YAML file, which is basically, it starts with three dash, and then every indentation is with two spaces between every lines, if it is it needs a space. And it is, everything is a list data structure, and within the list you have basically map, sublist, and you can have, so like a list map is a very common data structure. It's like a JSON, like an array, or map. So everything is a key value pair. So you write Ansible so Ansible playbooks basically refers that. So think about that, you have to do a large amount of tasks, and you can write a very big playbook. So, and that you have job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, like it's similar to GitHub Action workflow. You have multiple jobs, you do that. So that's where an important concept in Ansible is called Ansible roles. So basically every similar action you perform, you can group that into an Ansible role. An Ansible role is not just a folder, actually a concept in the Ansible. So you can use Ansible Galaxy command within it and just create an Ansible roles, and you see there are tasks, there are other variables, a lot of things can share. It's like a module, in Terraform. But Terraform module is very simple. Conceptually, it's basically a collection of the TF files and TFRs, and then basically you just point to the directory, and how you get the files through source or through GitHub or the registry, that's up to you. But I think Ansible rules a little bit more complex than that, because it has again a specific convention of folder structure, and you need to put your Ansible playbook like task, which you do in the task folder. And similarly, there are other stuff, there's the handlers, so that goes to more complex type of activities. And because it's a configuration management, right, it has to be more complex. So the roles is your way to structure your large automation task in a modular way so that it is more manageable. And that's one thing. And then if you think about other part, right, in your Ansible concept wise, so that's one. And then you have an Ansible runtime, you execute it. So that's pretty much it. And then you have basically command like Ansible to run it. And okay, yeah, one more thing is that an SSH setup. I try to do an example like when you install Ansible and when you define your target host, the first thing you need to make sure that you generate a key, and then key SSH key with the SSH command, and then you copy your public key to the accessible keys of Ansible in the target server. So though we are saying it's agentless, we don't have to install, but we have to set up the SSH trust between those two servers to do that. So you don't have to pay, but there's still some work initially to set up before you can go to that target server. So that's purely for configuration management, but we have to explore more about how Ansible can use to create resource in the cloud through API call, and that's why there is Ansible Collections. So we need to understand the differences between collection, module, roles. That's why I found Terraform is much more easy and easy to understand, but Ansible, maybe they purposefully made it complex with a lot of nomenclature so that very less people can learn, and it's made it a very niche and proprietary. Anyway, I'll do another recording. Bye.